Before you start thinking it's the multiple jobs abroad that will fund your dreams, take a seat and let's talk. Today, I'll be sharing with you one of the tips I used in securing my first ever scholarship. I get it. The excitement of the admission letter can make you feel like the hardest part is behind you. Hope and vibes is insufficient to fund your study abroad dreams or your immigration dreams, and that is why you're here to learn how you can also be financially equipped. Because I believe that financial literacy about the immigration journey is one of the most overlooked part of it. And oftentimes, when students or new immigrants come into the country, they easily get burnt out because they don't understand how much money goes into this. Study abroad or immigrating into a new country to start a new life is not cheap at all. And this was the same for me, right? When I got my admission letter, I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I can remember running home and laughing and smiling. At the time, it was the best day of my life because I'm so passionate about education, right? However, the reality hit me hard. Where would I get money from? I read through the admission letter, and I mean, if you are very accustomed to this, when you scroll down your admission letter, you would usually see the breakdown of the tuition cost. If you check your school website, sometimes some institutions put the living expenses that could be there, but it's usually the tuition costs that it's on the admission letter. So I remember seeing the tuition money, and I was like, what? Where would I get this money from? And I remember I said that I just finished the first degree. So my dad wasn't even expecting me to go back to school. Like, he thought I wanted to graduate and work. And me, I had this whole plan of going back for another undergraduate degree for 4 years. So one of the first things I did to secure funding is to revert back to my school. Yes, that's the number one tip. And I'm going to be breaking down this to you in this video. Okay, your situation might be, I'm already in the country. I'm already here in my second year, third year. Does this apply to me? Yes, it does. Revert back to your school and ask questions. Usually when you're studying in maybe Canada, the UK, US, Ireland, depending on the country of choice, when you revert back to the school, not all institutions are fully funded scholarship. Some of them have partial funding, and you'll be required to write an application letter for those scholarships, like an essay. Sometimes you're asked to shoot a video like the one you're watching right now. But first thing first, revert back to the school. Hello, my name is this. I just got an admission to study this program. I'm so excited, and I just wanted to ask if there are any funding available that I could apply for, or if there is any scholarship currently ongoing that I could submit an application for, or when would the scholarship application be opening? Ask questions. Literally, that was like the big thing I did. I could remember sending an email and saying, my name is Ola, this and this, I need money. That was not how I wrote it, obviously, but yeah. I needed to secure something first before I went to speak to my dad. So when I was going to approach my dad to tell him, oh, I want to go back to school, I didn't just say I want to go back to school. I had a bit of funding and I needed him to just complement the amount of money I had raised at the time. So if you're an international student looking to get scholarships, the first thing is reaching out to the international department. If you're a domestic student or you're not an international student, you can also reach out to the school financial aid office and ask about the scholarship applications. Technically, if you're looking to apply for scholarships, you can type the name of your school and put scholarship there. So let's say you're going to Brock University, you're writing Brock University scholarship. And technically, oftentimes, the scholarship application page would pop up, or they would talk about, there's going to be like an article that is referencing how you can apply for scholarship funding. So one of the things you want to do first is revert back to your school, ask for help, speak to people. Another interesting thing you could do is try to attend the online events that go on in the school. Before I started my school, like before I resumed for school, they usually have a lot of online events that were ongoing weekly. And trust me, I was usually in all those events. I wanted to know more about the school. So even when I was going to write about myself, I was a bit informed about the school. So one of the things you want to do is touch base with the international department as an international student. Touch base with the financial department. If you're not able to get a response from the international department, you're reaching out to the financial department. The financial department usually have like a scholarship application page that you're able to apply for. Not all institutions have a fully funded scholarship. Some of them have just partial funding. And I don't know if it's just me, that extra $4,000 is gonna, it's gonna do a lot. So if $4,000 is not too small for you, $5,000 here is not too small for you, you want to touch base with them. Okay, let me take you from your thoughts. So you might be thinking, I do not have first class. How then would I get scholarship? Or I didn't finish with a 90-something%. How then do I get scholarship? You do not need a first class to get scholarship. You do not. It is good if you have good grades. It is something you can use as a leverage, but that is not what you need when you're trying to get a scholarship. You've done volunteer work. You've had impact in one or two things. Tell your story in the most unique and diverse way possible. Technically, the reasons why some people are not able to make first class is for certain circumstances or whatnot. Tell your story. First class is not the benchmark to getting scholarship. When I got my first scholarship, I was not on a first class. I didn't get a first class. I just applied. So, like I said, first class is not your ticket to a scholarship. First class, however, makes the journey much easier, but it is not the ticket to getting one. You could have first class and not even get anything because you're not telling your story the right way. So yes, as regards using what you have to apply for scholarships, I would definitely tell you, I would share some of the tips I used in another episode. One of the things you could also do is tell your story over and over again. So yes, you've applied for 4 scholarships and you did not get any response. Keep applying, because I promise you, when you get that one yes, it makes all the other no worth it. Yes, when you get that one $10,000 credited to your student account, when you're in your final year and you actually don't have a way out, or when you get that 5K, 2K, whatnot transferred into your account, it solidifies your journey. It makes it make sense, because the amount of time that you're going to spend applying for those scholarships, it's nothing short of how much hours you would work if you were going to work. So we could do the math. You're working 40 hours a week. I don't know what job you'll be doing as an international student or as a domestic student at this time that you're working 40 hours a week and you're going to get $10,000. But I promise you, you don't need 40 hours to apply for a certain scholarship. Not all scholarships are very rigorous. They just need you to be truthful and tell your story. Tell anybody that cares to listen what help you need. Of course, you've done this. This is what you're trying to get to. For me, education is not negotiable. Like, it's very important to me. My dad would always ring it into my ears. Ola, school, there's nothing that can replace education. You have to be enlightened. You have to know these things. So for me, it was not a negotiable thing. I just took it to the next level when I was going to speak to him. Hello, Daddy. I have secured this amount of funding and I need your help. That was my story. I need your help. I want to travel. I don't have that kind of money to leave, but I know you do. Can you please help me? So that was the big part. But it would have been impossible for me to go speak to my dad about this without me securing a bit of funding. So I say this with all the love in the world. Applying for scholarship is not a walk in the park. It is usually a journey. It's a journey that is messy and uncomfortable and challenging, to be honest with you. It's not something that is easy, but it's something that is worth it, right? If you're not able to convince yourself to believe in yourself that somebody can actually give you over $10,000 to fund your education, I promise you, no one is going to believe you. Because the journey starts with you. It starts with you being able to speak to yourself. It starts with you believing in yourself enough that somebody would look at you, listen to your dreams, read about your dreams, and be like, I want to fund this person. Because that is what happens. Somebody reads your story and says, yes, I'm going to take a chance on this person and I'm going to give them money to fund their dreams. So it is something that you should take very seriously. I love to see it this way. I'm trying to convince someone to fund my dreams. If somebody was going to take $10,000 from me, they better convince me well. So when you write your scholarship essay and starting with, I'm an international student, they know. I don't have money, they know. So what are you going to say that is going to stop them in their track and going to make them read your story? If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to leave it in the chat box. I would be more than happy to answer your questions. Also, if you've not subscribed, please do. I understand. You currently feel like I'm trying to convince you to climb an imaginary step. But when you get that money, it will be worth it. Even if the only story you have right now is, my name is this, I am passionate about school, I can't imagine my life without studying, and this is why I want you to fund me. This is what I'm hoping to achieve. Say it, write it, tell it, because you owe it to yourself to take a chance on you. If you cannot convince yourself to take a chance on you, are you going to be able to convince somebody? I mean, this is for people that want the money. I wanted the money and I was desperate enough to press it. So, are you going to take that chance on yourself? This is Global with Ola. We are taking it one day, one step, one story at a time together. Please don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. See you next time.